Welcome to the Business Plugs Mixer. Hello, Facebook. Hello, LinkedIn. How are you, YouTube? My name is Linda Murray Bullard, and they call me the Business Plug, and I am so excited about this. You guys, I want to lean into this one. So I have as my guest somebody everybody wants to know, okay, what is he doing? But we'll talk about that after a minute. At first, I need to tell you, if you want to sample the Building Your Own Business 12-week course, now is the time to do that. Inbox me or click the link below, and I can tell you how you can sample it for free. Also, if you want to be on the Business Plugs Mixer, I have that link in the description as well. Like, subscribe, click the button. You're going to want to know when the Business Plug comes on every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, on right where you see it at now. Now, with all that housekeeping stuff going, hey, Greg.
How's it going?
It's going well. Where have you been?
You know what? I have been all over the place since I left News Channel 9 at the end of November. I've been traveling. I've been in New York. I've been in so many different places, and I was just in Florida, and I was in Washington, D.C. last weekend. A dear friend of mine, he's an opera singer from back home in Alabama. He wrote an opera, and it premiered. The world premiere was last weekend at the Kennedy Center. So to be there to support him, I'm just so grateful that God allowed me this time to be able to do things I wanted, so I could be like Miss Linda for a minute and travel and live my best life.
I was getting ready to say, where in the world is Greg Funderburg? Like, where in the world? You like coming San Diego for a minute there. Like, you over here, and then you over there, and you were popping up here. Saw you in the African Museum. Like, saw you in all these different places, all these different people. Like, you were just world traveling.
I will say this, it has truly been a blessing. I've been able to do some extraordinary things since I've been away. The first 2 weeks after I left TV news in Chattanooga, I literally took 2 weeks to sleep. I was so exhausted. 9 years, 4 months, 1 week, and 1 day of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's taxing on your body. So
Absolutely.
I really got a lot of sleep. Went to New York. My dear friend, mentor, Miss Ernestine Carter, her health started to decline. And then she passed away Christmas Eve, and her funeral was a couple weeks later. But I think of it as it was the greatest blessing, because God removed me from the situation where I was so that I had the time to rest. I had the time to be present with her towards the end of her life.
Oh.
And I got a chance to be there and be present with her family and friends during people, remembering the life that she lived, 87 wonderful years.
Yeah.
And then her
beautiful
funeral.
lady.
So, you look at life and you think, in the beginning, I said, Ms. Linda, I said, Lord, what am I going to do with myself off 2-3 months? Like, I don't know what to do, because, I've always had a schedule. And one of my friends said, just take some time and just chill. I didn't realize how much I needed this time until I was out.
I know it. Because when you're a type A person and you're in your grind, like you're fully in your grind. And so all that matters is making it happen, right? And then you were everywhere, helping everybody.
Taking phone calls, can we come on the show, booking guests, speaking here, doing that. Like, a lot of people just don't realize. And I remember people would always ask me, when do you sleep? I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably average during the week maybe 4 to 6 hours a night. Wow. And so when you think about a life like that and going like an Energizer bunny, at a certain point, you're just going to crash. And so I'm grateful that God made a way to take me away to do some things that I've always wanted to do before I return to the workforce in my career field. And so it's been great. I get to do things like this. Like, we're on air tonight. I didn't have to rush off and go to bed.
I know it. I am so glad, because the happiness in you that you've given to so many people in so many ways, like, it's glowing in you, like this is your turn, because you have helped so many people do so many things. I mean, you have brought on this person and that person and this business and that business and this event and supported, and not only put us on air, but you also came out and supported. Like, you just last night, you did the BEC Awards. And
that was one of my final things here in Chattanooga. So I was so honored when the committee asked me to do that before I left. my previous employer, and to be able to do something like that and be with all of those people, just amazing to be with so many entrepreneurs. You're an entrepreneur, and the really good thing about it is you get to see people celebrate it and
Absolutely.
uplift it. And that's one of the greatest things about that organization and what they're doing.
Absolutely. And thank you, BEC, for my award last night. I am humbled. I am, I don't know, words can I even express how much honored I feel that I always say the millennials, they think I'm one of them.
You are one of them, because you know what? One thing I love about you and so many other people, you may be a particular age, but I don't look at you being a particular age. I feel like, you're posting on social media, stories, music, just like you 25.
I am not your average great grandma. That's for real.
You don't look like a great grandma either.
I am not your
At
average.
all.
There's not many 63-year-olds out here doing what I do. And I enjoy it. I mean, I truly enjoy it. I do. I get to bring on people like you to not only show the people in here in Chattanooga, but I get to show you all to the world. I get to showcase your talent and your brilliance to the world. I enjoy that. I mean, I love doing that.
I'm truly honored that you asked me to do this a few months ago, and so it's been on my calendar. And when I think about life, and I can talk more about this later on when everything is public and done with. The decision for me to walk away from the job that I had for 9 years in Chattanooga, a lot of people thought like, oh my gosh, why would you walk away and leave this job? I prayed about it, and there were some other things that transpired back in the summer, and I got a lot of signs. God gives you signs.
Yes, he does.
And it's like Oprah said years ago, there's a whisper, and the whisper gets louder and it gets louder. And I prayed about it. And the day that I had to let them know that I was going to leave, a lady who I had not spoken to in like several months reached out to me randomly. And she said something in that conversation that was confirmation. That was number one. The second time that week, the next story, I was with a friend at a restaurant, and this lady came to me and she said, she and another friend, they said, look, God is moving you somewhere else. Your time is coming to an end in this place. That was number two. And then number three, my brother, who passed away at the end of 2021, came to me in a dream. And it was confirmation that I had made the right decision. And so, when I prepared to walk away, so many people asked me, are you sad? Are you crying? And I said, no, I didn't cry. Because as you said earlier, I live every single day in this season using this platform for greater good. And so there were so many people who came on the show. It didn't matter if you're Black, white, Asian, Latina, whatever. I wanted to make sure that everybody's voice was heard. So we celebrated Hanukkah, we celebrated Kwanzaa, we celebrated Christmas, we celebrated Juneteenth. We did everything under the sun during my time in that space where I had the power.
You did. And that's what I'm saying. And so looking at you now, like the same glow that you gave everybody who had the opportunity to come on your show and meet you, and not just your show, but also your own podcast where you were bringing people in, even on that, like the same glow that they had to get an opportunity to pitch, to talk, to tell the world what they were doing. That's that same glow you have now, sir.
You know what? I appreciate it. God has been good to me. Ms. Linda, I'll let you ask this question later, but I'm grateful because God has blessed me in so many ways, and we all have a testimony.
Absolutely.
And so at some point, I'll be able to share the whole testimony about everything that transpired from last late spring until now and how I got to this point. But the happiness that I have right now, and I can look back over the season in my previous season, and I'm so good. All I can say is like, thank God that he gave me that opportunity to be able to, shine a light on so many people, kids doing extraordinary things in our community. And I commend people like you because you continue that, everything that I've been doing, but you were doing it before then, but still highlighting positive stories here in the Tennessee Valley.
Because people need it. I mean, not just here, but everywhere. People need it. My friends over in Africa, they need to know what we're doing over here. And I love the opportunities I get to highlight them in the Philippines. in Canada, like all around the world where people are doing things in North Korea. Like I love the mixer is for anyone anywhere in the world that always ask, are you an interesting person? Because people who are interesting need to be highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be highlighted.
I truly believe everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And we get to certain places by doing certain things, and we all have something we can share with the world.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's what I look forward to hearing people's stories all the time.
I do too. And I get so engaged in them. Like I love to hear how people got to hear. Like what
Mm-hmm.
brought you to here or why this? Like when they can tell me the
Yeah.
backstories. I love that. I love that. I love it. It excites me. And I commend you because when I woke up from that coma,
Mm-hmm.
my niece said, "Oh, you need to call Greg." And I was like, "Yeah, I need to get Greg. I need to get Greg." And you were the first interview I did
Miss
after
Linda, when
waking
you
up.
listen, I didn't even know that had even happened to you. I had seen posts on Facebook, but I just assumed that you had a how it is. You're busy in life, and you're looking. And I remember getting the press release email about you wanting to come on my online show. And when I started reading it, I said, wait a minute. And when I talked to you and just to see everything that you went through in the story, like I said, God is so good. And I remember telling a dear friend of mine, I said, God is using her for something else. I don't know what it is at this point, but he's using her
He is
to do something else.
in this season, he is using me to help people he's given visions to
Mm-hmm.
years ago. And now I'm helping them put those dreams and visions on their feet. Like I get
Wow.
to talk to people all over the world who
Wow.
God gave some kind of vision to. And
That is
now they're
amazing.
ready to get it on his feet. And I get to be a part of that.
That is amazing.
It feels when they come and they tell me their stories, I already know why they came because
Mm-hmm.
they're finding me like in unconventional ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's
I'm
crazy.
looking forward to the book. I can't wait. Wherever I'm next, I have to interview. I don't care where I am.
I'm going to call and say, Greg, it's time. I told you, but it
And
took me 7 years for that first one. So it'll be a while.
well, what I don't care if it's 10, 5, whatever. I'm doing it. We're gonna do it.
Absolutely. So now that you have traveled the world, now that you've done the world tour, and you've got to spend time with loved ones, that is priceless within itself. That is priceless. And
It is.
so,
Oh, go
what
ahead.
can
I
you
know where you're going.
tell us, sir?
It's this question I've gotten all the time. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very transparent and honest with you. I have told people this privately when they've asked, but the way things work in the world, I will say this: where I'm going next, I can't say publicly where I'm going yet. But what I can tell you, because people said you said you were going to say something in January, but I'm gonna tell you just how good God is. I had a plan I was talking to a particular station in September, and I was planning to go and visit and be done. And something in my spirit said, wait, be patient. So I listened and I turned that place down. In October, this is like a month and a half before I left my previous job, I had several big opportunities pop up. Then I had several more opportunities pop up in November. This is prior to me leaving. So prior when I was getting ready to leave, I was saying I'm going to share more details later because at the time I honestly didn't know.
Right.
And so I had all these different things come up and talking to different people and so many amazing opportunities. And then in December, I had another opportunity pop up. So there have been so many things that have popped up, and I'm going through the final stages to figure out where I'm going to be next. But I say that to say this, I could have made a decision to go one place because it was comfortable, it was easy, and I just want to go ahead and get it done with. But I had to take a leap of faith.
Mm.
And I had to, as Steve Harvey once said, you know about Steve. Steve
I
Harvey
know
said,
Steve.
sometimes you got to jump and you don't know when the parachute is going to come out. Now, I could have pulled the lollipop and I could have made the easy route, but I kept free falling. And so God kept giving me these wonderful opportunities.
I
And
love it.
so I'm so grateful that I have had so many things that have been at my disposal where I can make a decision on what I wanted to do. And so that is the greatest blessing in all of it.
I
And so
understand it.
I'll be sharing more details hopefully soon on my social media pages, but as soon as I can
Absolutely.
say something, I definitely will. But what I can say is I'm so grateful that I waited. Somebody told me years ago, patience is a virtue. Greg Funderburg does not have patience, but I have learned in this season to have patience.
Absolutely. That's how you get patience because the opportunity to use it. That's how if you say, Lord,
Exactly.
teach me how to be patient. Those are
It's hard. You know what? It's hard. And, I've learned a lot about patience and a lot about faith in this season
yeah.
because my faith has really stretched me in places to help me to get to this place. Because I remember when back in August, when I made the decision to walk away, and this is before the public even knew,
Mm.
I remember telling my dad, and I told my mom. My mom just said, okay, cool. My dad said, that is fine. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith and allow God, you make one step and God to do the rest. And so
Absolutely.
just by taking that one step, God has shown me in so many ways. There's so many opportunities out there, but be patient and have discernment to know which is going to be the right place. And so when I tell you I've had so many wonderful conversations with so many wonderful markets to go to, I'm truly blessed. And so I look at my time in the Tennessee Valley. The 9 years that I spent here truly prepared me for my next chapter.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
so grateful. And meeting great people like you, because I've had the pleasure of meeting so many people in this community who have been so supportive, who've been encouraging, and even just listening to your stories, how they inspired me.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. You were talking about how you waited. So I have been trying to force a relationship, right?
Mm,
To force a relationship. Well, I thought I could do, really thought I could do good, but it didn't work out.
mm-hmm.
And so to those people who are trying to force, be like me, impatient, and, and want to force a relationship, and it won't work out because it's not designed for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That's
to
true.
to to get comfortable with being still,
Yep.
like get comfortable with being still and know that he's God, just being still.
Yeah.
And then opportunities, the right opportunity presented itself bigger than anything I could have ever imagined.
Wow.
I love what I do.
And that's truly how it all happens. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen for a reason. And I told the Lord, I said, once all this is done, I'm going to share the whole testimony, the good, bad, and the ugly, about how all of this came about. But I'm so grateful that I took the time to pray and seek his guidance, because so many people in the world, especially people my age, we're all about the now. We need to know now. And so the Lord he didn't act that way. And so I had to be patient. And so, I had a lot of people ask me, where are you going next? What are you doing next? I'm like, well, the Lord hadn't told me yet.
I
And,
know.
I had to say that, he had not revealed that to me. He had presented a lot of great opportunities to me, but it had not come forward yet. And so I'm in a place now where things are moving forward, and I can hopefully share more details very soon. But I just want to tell people, thank you for your support, your kindness, and your love. It means so much.
And so in all of that, in our preparing to close this interview, what takeaway can you give someone who's in that valley of indecision?
That is a good question. I tell people to really take time and pray
Mm,
and meditate and ask God to, because let me tell you, for me to, walk away from that situation and make that decision, it was hard for me because I knew it was time months ago, back in May. I knew it was time to
mm.
move on to do something else. And I prayed about it. I said, God, I need a clear answer. I need a clear as day answer. And he did. That a friend of mine randomly called me, hadn't talked to her forever. And she called me, and what she said in the conversation was a clear answer. And the thing about it was, Ms. Linda, she had no idea what I was going through. She had
Mm.
no idea that I was pondering a big decision. And then several other things that week that happened that came into fruition and said, it is time. It is time to take that leap of faith and walk away. And sometimes that leap of faith is scary. And I'm going to be
Oh yeah.
honest with you, it was scary, but it was the best decision for me at that time.
I love it. I love it. I lost a job once and I thanked the person that laid me off. And she said, "Don't thank me." I was like, "You're releasing me to go do what God has for me." And my life hasn't been the same since. But I did thank her.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because
Yep.
you're releasing me. Because that's the only way I would have left.
And so many people don't walk away. They're scared to walk away.
No.
And, I've always been taught, in my life, especially growing up in a small town in the country, you've always been told, don't leave that good job. You
Yeah.
get a good job, benefits, you don't ever just walk away and leave. And so when I made the decision to walk away and leave, I prayed about it and I knew that it was the right time for me to have to walk away. And it was, like I said, it was scary, but I look back on it now. Would I do it again? I would have done it sooner.
And walk away is self-care. Walking
Self-care,
away is self-care.
it is. And sometimes you have to emotionally and mentally, you have to walk away from some things.
Yeah.
And some toxic situations. And sometimes you have to walk away from situations to go to a place where you're valued. And so many people are in positions now where they're not paid their worth. There are other
I
people who are
know it.
making a lot more money than they do, and they're
I
working
know
hard
it.
and
I know
going
it.
above, going above and beyond, and nothing is happening. But you have to dig deep in yourself and say, is this the right thing for me to do? And you have to
Absolutely.
make that. And now I'm not telling anyone. I want to make this clear.
Yeah.
I'm not telling. Don't say Greg said, like Beyonce said, quit your
Greg
job.
told me last night to quit my job.
I did not say that.
That book Jump that Steve has,
Mhm.
like for a while I was telling business owners, look, guys, Steve is exceptional. And he's crafted. Like he studied his craft.
Mhm.
So when he jumped, he actually had something to jump with. Don't quit your job because jobs become your number one investors when you're trying to do your thing, be it a business,
Mhm.
start, write a book, go to school, whatever that looks like. Don't quit your job. So that's not what he's saying. And so that's me saying it too with him, that I never tell people to quit their jobs. What I do tell them is to build while you're working. So you may
Mhm.
have to change your focus and your priorities to include whatever that thing is you want to do in life. But don't that struggle bus, that's not a good ride. It is not
No,
a good ride. It does not ride easy. I promise you. The struggle bus does not ride easy.
it doesn't. And the thing about it is, what I've learned in this season of my life, that it is okay to it's okay to do what makes you happy. Because for so long I had always done things to make other people happy. And so I was booking guests, taking phone calls late at night, people sliding in my messenger, want to come on the show. And I was doing all this stuff on my off time and not doing it at work. And so, even conversations I would have in public and it would turn into a long, drawn out conversation. And so I have poured so much into so many people's cups that I'm gonna be honest with you, by August of last year, this is 3 months before I left, my cup was so dry and
Ah,
so empty that I had poured so much into so many other people that I didn't take the time to self-care and pour into myself.
but you have seeds in the ground,
That's true.
and those seeds are going to reap a harvest.
I had a whole garden,
I
a
love
whole
it.
garden.
Absolutely. But those seeds are going to reap harvest. They're
And
growing. They're
and I
growing.
would
So
say,
even though you were depleted, which is not
mhm,
ideal, those seeds that you planted are going to tenfold the blessings that you've stored on other people. I just truly believe that. And
you
I
know,
wish that for you.
and I truly believe that, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do so much. And the reason I say that is because I see so many people not taking care of themselves. Even have friends in my friend circle, and I told a friend of mine, I said, you need to go get a pedicure, just to go get a pedicure. And she was like, I don't have time, I got a kid and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, if you can't take care of you, then who's going to take care of your kid if something happens to
Exactly.
you?
Exactly. Exactly. And I remind, I did that after I woke up from COVID and things. I did that to my young people who were like vaccine adverse. They were like, no, we're not doing that. I say, well, then go ahead and assign who you want to take care of your kids.
Hmm.
Because I didn't take what I took for me. I took it so that Carlos, Isaac, and Dayron would not be motherless. Because I know what
Yeah.
that feels like. That was my first book. I know, I know what that
Yep.
feels like. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone at any given time. And I came very close to doing that the first time. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm vaxxed up and I take precautions. I wear masks, I take vitamins, like I'm doing the whole thing to keep me healthy so that Carlos, Isaac, and Darren will have a mom here. So that my grandchildren, my 7 grandchildren, will have a great grandmother here. So that my great grandson has his great grandmother here. Like
Yep.
you don't do it for you do it for those you love.
That's true. That
And
is
that's
true.
that's everything. That's on everything that I do. That's who I'm doing it for. So I definitely relate to that. People need to practice self-care. Take care of yourself, whatever
And
that looks like.
it's so important to people to do that. And so that's been my thing in 2023, encouraging friends and other people, take care of you first.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
things for other people, but pour back into yourself. If that's
Absolutely.
going for a walk in the park, if that is whatever, taking a long shower, do something for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you for your yes. I have enjoyed this so much. I have
Thank you.
enjoyed this so very much. I can't wait till you make the announcement of what happens next because I know it's going to be exciting and it's going to be an adventure for you. And I am so happy that this is happening because you deserve every moment of it. Like embrace every second of it.
Miss Linda, thank you so much. I just want to say, out of my 9 years of being in Chattanooga, you were always a bright spot. And to see the work you've been able to do, and I know God is using you to do some more work in this world. And I can't wait until this next book come out because you are a living, walking testimony.
But thank you. Thank you. To God be the glory.
Amen, my friend.
And so I'm going to close out here. My name is Linda Murray Bull. They call me the business plug. I just plugged you into Greg Funderburg. Stay tuned and follow his pages because there's plenty more to come, and you don't want to miss out on any of it. I'll see you next Sunday here on the Business